Hello, and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo. I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs, Khosi Football Club. And in today's video, we are going to talk about Arthur Zwane's serious admission, right? But before we go on and talk about everything else, please do like the video and also just subscribe to the channel. In this channel, we speak everything that has to do with the Kaizer Chiefs. We preview Kaizer Chiefs matches, we react to Kaizer Chiefs matches, we do match watch alongs, and we also post daily videos. So if you're interested in Kaizer Chiefs content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyways, Arthur Zwane has said something valid that has been clear to everyone. Ukuthi, he admits ukuthi he has made some mistakes. I've made some mistakes, says Arthur Zwane, admitting ukuthi as a coach this season, he knows ukuthi he's made some mistakes. The funny thing though is that when I read that, my mind is that which one is he referring to? Because there's been a lot, right? Because to me, right, if someone says they've made a mistake, to see what they really regret that, I then look at how they respond to the mistakes that they've made. Because I feel like if, for instance, he's referring to Caleb is still there in the team, but they are saying Caleb will be released. That's what the reports are saying. So if there was a mistake that was referring to, Guti was like, hey, we don't have players, so we might as well sign Caleb. If there is a mistake that is referring to, I get that. But the other players, it's pretty much the same. Like if you look at the starting at the team that we have right now, it's pretty much the same. The positions that have been changing are the center back positions. Kweneka was playing with Ungezana at some point. Gezana made mistakes, and then also Dove arrived. So Dove changed and took over from Ungobo. And then from there on, it's been just Dove and Kweneka. Kweneka made mistakes, and then Kweneka was eventually taken out. Gezana came back. So center back pairing was like that. But the rest of the team, it hasn't really changed. I would say the recent mistake that he made was bringing in Ukol in that game. But again, it's nothing that I could have foreseen. Uguti bringing on Ukol in this game will result in Chiefs failing to beat Isekukune. Because it's not like we're going to rely on Ukol against Isekukune. Because it's not like Ukol failed to defend all the time. He was just not there as a player that we needed to add numbers going forward as well. So I would be interested for me to really sit down with Uzwane and say, Mangete, can you tell me which mistake are you referring to? Because the other things that I would say are his mistakes are the way or the timing Yamasa Abzaki. Because I would think that is one of the main thing that I personally believe Uguti he needs to fix. Because yes, in this recent game against the Swallows, he did make relatively early subs, but usually that's one of the places that he does not make changes in. Looking at another mistake that I think Uzwane could be referring to, remember that game in Cape Town City? That game in Cape Town City still haunts me to this day. I think the two most embarrassing moments for Chiefs, I see Ufonelwa Mazulu, Ufonelwa Sundowns. Those ones don't bother me as much as Zulu does bother me. But those two losses don't bother me as much as the 2-0 loss to Cape Town City, where we didn't seem like we had any hope, and also this loss that we just had against the Swallows. So changing information in that game was really a mistake, and we've not seen Uzwane go back to that system again, because that was the only time where I saw Uzwane approaching a game with complete fear from the get-go. And even with that fear, he still got punished because Cape Town City was still not playing any games with the Chiefs. So I would be interested to hear what you guys also think, Uguti. Which mistakes do you actually think Uzwane might be referring to, Uguti, he has made, and which ones do you think urgently need to be fixed? Because for me, if you say what is one problem that Zwane needs to fix? Obviously, other people will bring up Uguti Zwane as favorites, but I would think every other coach has favorites. And if you're thinking what favorite or which favorite is that, obviously people will point at Umati. Funny enough, some people still point at Ungezane as Zwane's favorite. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, but Ungezane has worked his way back into the starting 11. Same thing that I can say with Usteb. Usteb, some people will still just say Usteb is not a good player. Usteb shouldn't be playing. Usteb in Como. But the more I am listening to some of the Kaizer Chiefs fans, I'm realizing Guti, they are just Kaizer Chiefs fans, some people. Because I was on Facebook before the video, like 2 hours ago, and I saw someone saying, why is Kamapiliati not being played at Chelsea? And then people were commenting and saying, oh, he's not playing because the coach hates him. I'm like, that dude has been out for 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. He's been out. The last game that I remember Kama playing was the Soweto Derby, and since then he's not played. And then after that, he just returned a few weeks back, and then he's been doing individual training sessions. Oh, people have seen pictures of Fukama training on his own, and all of a sudden they're saying the coach is not playing him because he hates him. And then Babizu coaching uplamba ekubeni kuyibo abanganayo understanding yokuthi a player cannot be just out for 6 months, and then the next thing you know they do one training session on their own, and then the next thing you know they are starting games. It's ridiculous. People just speak and speak and speak and speak and speak and speak some of these things that people say. I find them to be really, really strange. I want us to touch on something else, by the way, in a minute. So I will read these comments first, and then I will talk about this other thing. Temba saying Khosi for life, awe Temba. And then Usboniso is saying Olampilo Nation, awe. Mandla, Khosi Nation, awe. Uhuputo is saying Ola Olampilo Nation, yebo. Uhuputo continues to say, I was one of those people who hated on Stebe, but I must say, I'm his biggest fan now. Ustebe Vele, there are some people who will, and funny, who still hate him to this point. Here's the funny thing. Well, it's not funny really, but interesting, I would say, is the fact that people are still in that case yokuthi Ustebe is not good quality, and they're saying he should be benched, and the coach is a plumber for playing him. And the same people who are not realizing Guti in the past games, whenever Ustebe has been not available in the past 9 games, the Chiefs ended up in the 2 games that Ustebe wasn't available. The Chiefs ended up drawing or losing the game because Ustebe wasn't available. So they don't pay attention to that. They just pay attention to the fact that they don't like Ustebe and they don't want Ustebe to play. And then they just end it there. On the other hand, they are the same people who are saying Uzwane is not choosing Ama players based on merit. Yes, there's an argument to be made there. I will not disagree with that. But if you're gonna say Uzwane is not choosing players based on merit, Uzwane has favorites, then now don't present an argument yoguti this player should be played because, and then you give me an argument yoguti. Let's take Umatoho for example. I know what I'm going to annoy some people by saying this, but here we go. Umatoho is an absolute Kaizer Chiefs legend. He helped the Chiefs win back then, but his time is over at Kaizer Chiefs. Uzobezo athi hayi ayikho lento oyishoyo. Umatoho une-experience. Yeah, une-experience, but you are forgetting what he was doing he's been doing in the past 2 seasons. Not good enough. Why? Because it's just sometimes Uguti, you grow up and there's a point where you are no longer fit or good enough to play in a certain team. Umatoho can go to ETS Galaxy and be a good player. He can go to any other team, almost any other team in the PSL and be a good player. But that doesn't mean he's still good enough to play for the Chiefs. But people are still holding on to the fact that Umatoho was there in our title winning squad. As such, Umatoho deserves to play every other game here, Kaizer Chiefs. I'm like, no. We should also look at how Chiefs is playing right now and what kind of a player Umatoho is. But people want to force things and say Uzwane has favorites while they are also using an argument of wanting to see their own favorites play. And that is why they're still hating on Ungezana. I remember the goal that we considered against Isekukune. Ungezane was running this way and the ball was being crossed this way. He tries to clear the ball and then the ball falls into an oncoming player who was not marked, by the way. And it was Mandla, as he calls it, unfortunate. I mean, I don't believe in that thing. I feel like our midfielders could have been there, but there is an argument that could be made for that. But the point is, because of that mistake, the Tungezana, it wasn't even a mistake. I can't call it a mistake. Because if you have played football, you know what, if you are running this way and then there's a ball that comes behind you, you try to clear the ball as a defender because you're not just going to let the ball roll across and say, oh, because I couldn't have control, because you don't know for sure how important one touch could be on the ball. And then people are going to say, no, 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 no. You are playing this player because he's your favorite. Nonsense. Now, if you're using the argument you want your favorites to play, then don't say Uzwane is picking favorites. Be neutral before you can say kunama favorites. That's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. And then unathi DJ saying Pilo Nation away. Specifically saying I initially didn't want Siteb and Matt at Chiefs, but they proved me wrong. Mina Shem Ustebe, my only concern was the age, and Namanj it's still a concern because if he continues to pick up a form and play better and better and better, then we're gonna start depending on him, and then the age will be against him soon enough, and then all of a sudden we'll be in trouble. That's the thing. But what I see him do right now, he works hard, he delivers for me in every way that well, not in every way because I do feel good going forward we can still do more. I know he's playing slightly deeper, but I feel like he could still do a bit more in terms of not trying to kick the ball as everyone else does in our team these days. Umatemots is saying, how about fielding Kuneka or Ngobo in the midfield against Pirates? No, to Kunek. Kunek is not comfortable, my brother. Yabo Kunek is not comfortable. Ungobo, yes. Ungobo, yes. I would say Ungobo, he can probably play as a defensive midfielder because we have said Uguti, there is that issue, that minor issue, Uguti, Umtu right now things don't seem to be going his way. So if you want to be defensively sound, Ungobo as a defensive midfielder, play him alongside Ustebe and then play Umat as a 10. And then at least you have a midfield that is balanced because you have a defender as there as well. So I wouldn't be against that because at least Ungobo has played. I do just feel and fear for Uguti pressure could get to Ngobo. At least if he's playing as a defensive midfielder, that pressure will not be affecting him as much as it does as a defender. Because, well, let me say this: it can be affecting him, but if he loses the ball in midfield, it's different to losing the ball as the last man, which he usually is. So then I would rather if he plays as a defensive midfielder with Dab, which I think is not likely to happen. But Uzwane having played him in the previous two games, and if he's happy with him, we might just see the change given the situation of needing to mark in the midfield. Liberty is saying we really need a defensive midfielder. I want Martis Tebe and Zwane to fight for the same spot. We need competition in positions so that we can get the best out of players. Yeah, bo, I agree with that. If competition would end this complacency that we have in our team right now, you can tell ukuthi some players feel like the positions are theirs because they look at the bench and they're like, no one's going to take my place. like like they see ukuthi nah fam, there's no one who can come in here and take my place so I can do whatever that I want to do. So I agree, we need competition. Unati DJ Sengpilo, my brother Stebe is not that good player, but at least he's improving each and every game. Unlike Matt, who keeps on losing the ball now and then. I don't know, hey. I would like to disagree with that. I think Ustebe is a good player. I wouldn't say he's elite, but he's good. Like I wouldn't say he's elite. Let me see, Uguti. If you think about other players like Abotebo Homkoena, even okay, I can't compare him with Utim because Utim is a defensive midfielder. If I look at other attacking midfielders in the league, there are a lot of players who are better than Umat, Ustebe, but I wouldn't say also he's average. I think he's good, also for South African football, a level that has been set, is good enough to play at Chiefs, as you can see. But he's just not elite, Veleg, but he's good enough. And what I like about him is that he's fighting. So, yeah, that's where I'm at, man. And then, uh, Ben Smith is saying, hola, hola, Mpilo. Keep on doing good things. Now we know Chiefs better. Danko, danko, danko. Please like the video. By the way, if you're enjoying, I can see there are a lot of people. So please like the video. Ulipati is saying, might as well get two defensive midfielders. One that is still being developed and one who will be an immediate starter. We definitely, we need someone who is going to walk into the starting 11. One problem that I have with the person who's going to know what I am the solution to the problems that they have is Uguti, then they will know Uguti, they are undroppable, sort of, right? Because let's just say Chiefs get Umteto. Umteto, like, okay, there's no defensive midfielder there. I can go there and get scheme Muskun. But the problem is that now if they just come with that mindset, I don't think Umteto is that kind of a player who would say, oh, ngizodla scheme lapha isami, no one can compete with me. But I would also just want to get a person to make sure whoever we get is a kind of a person who will come in with the mentality who's thinking, okay, I'm here to help the team. I'm here to prove something. I want to, help whatever. Not too good. I just want to be here and be celebrated. So I think we do need more than one defensive midfielder because as it stands, we do not have a defensive midfield. Uh uSpecihle saying into ezizoyikhala Saturday pha ngabo 6. We're not crying when Specihle. There is no crying. Like we've been up in the Nedbank Cup, but we've won. So I am telling you now, Guti, Nedbank Cup, we are going to the finals and we are winning it. Okay, let's take cut. Let's do it again. We are going to the Nedbank Cup finals and we are winning it. My mind is not believing that. My heart is in it. No, but anything is possible, guys. Like anything is possible. This is football. Usmongo is saying Zwane on Saturday must play midfield three that's compact and defensively good. In the first half and the second half, Mtu Samgelo in on the 70th minute. We must frustrate Pirates and not let them play. Exactly. And that is why it would make some sense if I saw Unjabulo Ngobo. There is a match preview that you should check later. I don't want to go deep into that thing right now. But I will say, Uguti, we definitely do need to make sure Uguti Pirates we stay in the game because the biggest thing that we can do, the thing that can hurt the Pirates the most is obviously scoring a goal, but also making sure they don't score a goal could be just as hurtful because they're like, oh, why are we not scoring? Why are we missing so many chances? Then that could also be upsetting to them. So I am really happy. As when you're watching the stats while people are coming in and out, you're like, what does a person do? They come in to a live stream, they watch it for 3 seconds, and then what do they say? They're like, I don't like his face, and then they leave the stream. It's weird. Anyways, let me continue. And then Khopotso is saying Sitebe on his day really carries the midfield and is a fighter. Hope to see him as a 6 with Zwane as an 8 and Guess Matt as a 10. Matt really needs to work on himself though. Yabona, I saw in his pre-match talk, he said that he Chiefs, even in a stadium, in the derby, 90% of the fans are Chiefs' fans, which I think maybe not 90%. I think probably we derby it's 65-35, 65% Chiefs, 35% Pirates, because if you've noticed, there is a lot of noise when Chiefs does something, but Pirates, now they have the noise, but I still feel like Chiefs has more fans than Pirates. So he's saying they depend on that, but I'm like, you can't just use that, Yusuf, because every other game the Chiefs plays against the Pirates, against any other team. Chiefs always has more supporters in the team, so you cannot really say that Chiefs he has an edge because of the fans, because you always have more fans, but you never deliver based on the number of fans or the proportion of the fans. And then Liberty saying against Pirates, can we play DM Stebe and play 2 8 in Matt and Zwane, or Matt as the 8 and Zwane as a 10? Would that work? No, it wouldn't work to make Uzwan as a 10. That's too far up for Uzwan. Because you remember we did that against him Isekukun. We're playing with Cole Nosteb as a 6 and then Lokonja as a 10. That's too high for Uzwane. Uzwane cannot play that further up in the field. Because I feel like the trying him there is sort of setting him up for failure in a way, because he is more of a player who needs to collect the ball and start playing from deep. But if he's that further ahead, he's not going to be in a game for most of the time. So I think it wouldn't work for him to be that high up. Maybe if we're playing I'm 8 out 2, like Stebe as a 6, as you are saying, and then Umat no Stebe badlali, Umat no Zwane be ahead of him, that could work. I just don't think Uzwane trusts the system of one pivot. I think he's trusting the system at double pivot, because if you have a double pivot, then you're trusting Stebe covers Uhlanti and then Umat covers Solomons or Frost, which I've seen them do. So I think that is why he has this double pivot system. Uguti he's trying to make sure Uguti full backs are covered, because at any time he knows Uguti if the ball is won on the left, which is the right side of the Chiefs, then Umat will cover that position. If the ball is won on the right, which is the left side of Chiefs, then Ustebe will cover that position. Yabo Ganti, if you are a natural defensive midfielder, then you know how to cover both sides in a way which is if you are really good, volleyball can only be in one side. But with this double pivot system, it's also, I feel like, more beneficial for us because we're leaking goals. Well, it should be beneficial for us since we're leaking goals. I would think if we had one pivot, maybe it would hurt us more than it is right now, because I think it does help us, man, when we're recovering, right? When we're recovering from a counter, when there is a counter, and then we have Stebe covering on the left. So it does help us. Uspecihle is saying, I would rather field Frostler in that midfield. Frostler falls asleep on Uspecihle. That's my problem. About Frostler is such a good player technically, but he falls asleep a lot. That is my problem. He goes to sleep, and because of that, he cannot be trusted in a position that's so important. Please like the video, by the way. I was specifically saying, am I the only one who is already nervous ahead of the derby? Mina, I'm trying by all means to stay positive. I won't lie to you, because uh like the other two derbies that we've played before, I know Guti Pirates like are much better and that they are in a better position, and you can depend on them to deliver results. But then again, I'm like, it's a derby, so I can't say form will describe how the match will end up going. So I'm like, nah, fam. I'm just gonna keep hope and say Chiefs will do something. I don't think they can do something, but it's a derby, and somehow from somewhere in a derby, things happen. Moses is saying, hi, Impilo Nation, why can't we play Solomons as a left winger rather than Sehot? I did bring that up. Bazokhuluma kodwa bethi, why is the coach doing that? The problem is, how good is he in cutting in? Because I think Uzwan, what he might end up doing if he brings on Solomons, he would play him as a right winger. Did you say right winger? Yeah, he could play him as a right winger, not a left one. Because if he's playing as a left winger, he has to cut in. Because if he's going out, then he has to cross with the left foot, but he can't do that. So what we might end up seeing is that he can either push Utupri to the left and play Usaile through the middle, or push Usaile to the left and then play Utupri centrally as well. So um that's what I see happening. Guti. If he brings Solomons, that's the only system that he can use. Because he's more dependable. The problem would only be ukuthi, what if Frostler gets injured? And then would be ukuthi, okay, if Frostler gets injured, you keep Solomons there, and then you take Kukwineka, you play him as a right back. I know, but he has played as a right back, and he even played as a right back in the other derby, and he did well. So I can do it. And then Umtu is saying, Ukhupuzo is saying Mtu should play on the wing alongside Dupree and Sahil. Mtu is not on form, but playing Happy Okechi would be really wasteful. Exactly. Like, just play Umtu on the wing. You still know he's gonna work hard. You still know he's gonna have the right back worried, and bring on someone else who's going to reinforce our defensive midfield position. Sinlogutle is saying, why is Chiefs still keeping Billiard? In what sense? You mean not playing, or not selling him, or not releasing him? I think if he's not, if you are referring to keeping him, not selling him, contract tag expires in June, so they will probably release him in June. Well, not release, not renew his contract when it ends, or he's gonna renew it. If you are referring to why is he not playing, well, that's because he's injured. He's coming back from injury. Spongo Boko is saying Gezana needs to work on his headers. He's going to be vital. And Hlanti also uyasaba header, and where Ungezana to flick the ball to the far post, and Hlanti Ongcobo needs to be there to finish it off. Minavele, this amazes me how how these guys sometimes they are not so great with heading. It's weird. Unati teacher is saying, yes, Mr. Mpilo, I like the spirit. Saturday we're winning. Yebo. Liberty is saying, can Frosler play DM? Maybe he can, but the question is, do we want to try against Pirates? I doubt that. And then Hopoto is talking to someone else. Temba is saying, Orlando Pirates fans majority is very old now. They very tired, Shem. Hopoto is saying, let's like the video, guys. Yes, let's like the video. Usbahle is saying, Stebe can cover both sides, and Matt on bench, and Zwane on 8, then Shabalala on your 10. That is a disaster, Usbahle kodwa. Can we be honest? You cannot play no Samgelo at the same time. I disagree. Because umtu right now is not in the greatest of form. On top of that, you add to Samgelo. Ngeke uSamkelo phela can't mark to save his life, Shem. He's struggling with marking. That game will be too much pressure. I just fear for him. He can't mark. He cannot mark. Maybe next season he can play derby from start. He can come in second half, but to start, I mean, I fear. I was basically saying, guys, the last time we played Pirates in cup games, they beat us 3-0 first leg and 2-0 in second leg. History could repeat itself. Fire! Ngiyayifasa ngebhakajuthu ukuthi no, that's not happening. Sibongo Buku is saying they must put in low crosses and confuse the goalkeeper and defender to put Pirates under pressure. Not this thing of putting crosses so high when we don't have strikers who can score headers. I'm even thinking about this thing, Yamakon. We even struggle to score corners, although we see good corners get delivered in the right areas, yet they still don't finish them. I'm like, why is that? Umandla is saying Chiefs is losing this weekend. Fire. This is fire, Mandla. Fire. Uti knows this for sure. Yes, we should pin this comment, and then we'll come back and say we told you so. It's not happening. Slindo Wutle is saying if we lost on Saturday, we must stop going to stadium and stop buying Chiefs jersey so that the management will know that will know they are nothing without the fans, and when they will start signing, and that is when they will start signing quality. Chiefs won't be shaken because they know Wuti fans will go to stadiums. Even if they lose 5-0 at the weekend, Chiefs will go to the Kenya Super Sport and Cape Town City. That's just the thing, Guti. That's how much we love this team. We can cry and cry and cry, but we just can't help ourselves but go back and watch the game. Another comment is from Uspesi saying, I didn't even watch that press conference because I know Guti, I will be angry again. And I think of Monday's game, especially since it was Matt and Hlat. Yeah, Chef Ziakala. But we remain hopeful, some of us. Guys, thank you so much once again for joining me. I will see you on the next one. Go watch the match preview video. I will see you on the next one, and until next time, remember, equals alphelumoy.